This is the game where I feel like I played my perfect cash cup game ever. So I'm going to bring you along this game, and this is where I started to feel like after this that I was slowly starting to figure things out. This cash cup, I think I figured it out. What I mean by that, I would definitely consider myself a non-pro at the moment, and I'm trying to find a way to get myself out of opens. My goal this season is to get the finals in solos or duos, but not the eval cup because we've done that already. When it comes to Fortnite, I feel like the best of the best can make their way out of opens pretty easily. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what I mean by I kind of figured it out a little bit. This is the first cash cup in a while where I actually feel like I can visually see the improvements that I've made. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna see that these games started out pretty rough. My drop spot is probably the reason why I'm dying almost every single time I play one of these cash cups, and I never qual because of it. Putting that aside though, game 1 we died off spawn. Game 2 went pretty well, and what I started realizing and being more comfortable with was just having the ability to kind of just force myself to take height at random times. Playing with the grapple that I was kind of doing off spawn, everyone says that if you want to make it out of opens or you want to make it far in finals, that you should have a grapple. And when you do have the grapple, it's kind of like free height as long as you stay elevated. That's what I was doing here, and as I was playing in this game, you're going to see how I was kind of staggering to try and conserve mats and just grapple from height to height to height. And honestly, throughout most of this game, it kind of seemed like it was going pretty well, and then like the strat was working out. It's just that I didn't have enough ammo to kind of hold it. I mean, just right off the bat, looking at my gameplay, just watching this back for the first time, I just really didn't connect myself that well to height either, because I was kind of being scared with the mats I had. Maybe that means that I shouldn't have been holding height in the first place. I was just mainly looking at kids, just trying to just dink them just a little bit to stop them from looking up altogether. Even shooting them for like 20 damage as they rotate with a Spidey can grief someone. You never know. Just so you know, the best game is later on, but we're gonna build up to that. I'm gonna let this play out for just a second, and I'll be right back. That had to be the biggest choke in the moment. Awareness was just so low here. I'm going to replay and show you, like, I thought this wall was already placed, and that just full sold this whole game. Starting off hot, jumping into game 3, I kind of got pushed right off the bat, and I just kind of realized and got more comfortable with over the kind of months of playing Fortnite and actually trying in competitive, just getting comfortable with understanding when I should not run from a fight. Having confidence just to key someone randomly whenever you get pushed is going to make you play better, and that's what I did here. I tried to get as aggressive as I can because I'm looking to get better at my fighting, and doing it in these cash cups when I'm going out of my comfort zone, I feel like this is the best way to do that. Hold on, I'm in a fight. So as a non-pro in these end games right here, you're going to see how I have the grab, and what's going through my mind right now is that I'm just getting constantly looked at from height on the back edge of zone. So I'm trying to be more careful about being next to build so I can kind of use that as some cover as I'm kind of tarping my way along. One of the biggest mistakes I learned here was that if I have to pull a max zone, I probably shouldn't be grappling out the top of my box when there's a height established on the opposite side. At that point, that guy on opposite height just has complete free reign to just unload all AR ammo at me. Once I'm as front zone as I can possibly be, I create 1 or 2 boxes for myself, and I'm looking to get a refresh at this point. I do this little strat where I stand on top of this floor, and at the moment I'm just looking for kids and looking for someone to pounce on. I gotta be careful about who I choose, because if I pick the wrong person, I'm just gonna get slam dunked on from every angle. I think I played it really well. I wrapped around all the way this side of zone, used the hard map box to just get in, and this is a strat that I learned from Nani when I was watching his gameplay of cash cups. What he does when he desperately needs a refresh, if he ever gets a crack on someone, like he you see here, he makes the wall really weak with his gun, and then he just runs up to it and full exploits it. Now, I got shot from the back, like literally last second, which kind of screwed up my SMG aim. But if you're struggling to get refreshes in cash cups, this is by far one of the easiest ways to do it, where you make the wall weak beforehand and then just jump right in. So like you kind of see how I'm kind of teaching you guys along with kind of teaching myself things. So whenever I learn something that's really massive that helps me win fights and end games especially, I'm going to toss it in these videos, which I think is super helpful. One of the biggest flaws as like a non-pro I think that I make a lot is overthinking the rotates. You're going to see here how I want to pick a side in this cash cup and I'm going all the way to the right, and it kind of got me full griefed when I had mats to build and even a grappler to use. It's like ridiculous how I managed to think of this in the middle of the game, I'm going to be honest. I really do like how as a non-pro I'm looking at height and just being aware of like how they are tarped above me, and as you can see I get this guy chopped out and I pretty much grabbed height from here on out. I didn't establish myself pretty well, to be honest. It looked like I was pretty nervous when I was trying to grab it and just claim it, but here's where the sketchy part came in. So you guys know FNCS just ended, and the people who got third, their name is Fatch and Pamsap. Let me tell you, they're crazy. This man Fatch had 12 kills and he was aggressively taking height on me. He just full griefed me. You know the story of that by now, but I still think I did the right play, which was to chop him out, and maybe if I did it faster I would have caught him off guard more, potentially got this kill. Just crazy how like out of pocket, like this just came out of nowhere almost. I should have expected this or just grappled front and tried to take it back from him. I will say though that the mistake was that I probably didn't build up high enough and he was easily able to just run up on my tarp like that. So boom, we're landing into the next game. I'm dead. Now this was the game where I was trying to get more comfortable in cash cup situations and just forcing fights, so to speak. Not like necessarily forcing it, but just getting better at trying to push kids on the dead side where I know I probably won't get third partied as much. This was a really good game, so after this mid-game fight wraps up, I'm gonna get back into this. So you can kind of see after I get that refresh, I'm still trying to forcing another fight because I'm starting to realize at this point in the game, I'm like 2 hours in and these kids that I'm playing aren't really that good. At this point in the end game, what I like to do sometimes, I don't know if this is a bad thing, but like as I'm tarping over this guy and I'm rotating, I'm looking to almost just crack someone and full jump in. Like I'm looking to rotate at the same time, but my main goal is obviously to just like kind of try and find a refresh along the way. There's so many people that randomly tarp. If you get a crack, you just jump in, it's a free kill every time. And I've learned that along the way just from watching a bunch of pros. I feel like they do that same exact thing, but the general rule of thumb is like get in zone and then look for a refresh. I feel like sometimes along the way you just get a crack, you jump right in and boom, you get like a free refresh. I would also say I'm getting more comfortable. Like one of the biggest improvements I've made to my game when it comes to end games, I'm smacking on people's walls from above or below and I'm looking to get that crack and potential refresh. Whoa. I gotta go. Really big chokes, end up dying off spawn this game and the next one as well. So that's just GG. Go next. This is the game where I feel like I played my perfect cash cup game ever. So I'm going to bring you along this game, and this is where I started to feel like after this that I was slowly starting to figure things out when it comes to getting out of opens in these cups. I mean, I didn't necessarily do it in this video, but you could see just from this one game, like all these things that I'm going to be telling you, how I'm applying the skills that I learned from watching and VOD reviewing a little bit. The crazy part is it was one of my most scuffed games out of this whole tournament. After that trash early game fight, I had to refarm and get my heals back up, but luckily I had the grapple. I end up forcing myself and telling myself, like, listen, if I want to get back in this game, I'm needed just gonna get a refresh, get my heals and match just juice through the roof. Not only that, it will help me with the points if I could just find these kids who are really in low elo like me. I pushed this kid and this is what happened. See, like, this is how I think you're supposed to attack a fight. I'm taking tops, I'm taking walls, and I'm trying to be as safe as possible while trying to do that. So I'm constantly keeping the pressure up, trying to run in that box, trying to take pieces one at a time, but being patient so I don't over peak or overexpose myself. Crazy how hard of zero ping these guys have. Now, I'm not forcing fights anymore as we're going on through this game, but I'm looking to get aggressive on stuff when I can. So I'm taking my chances. I'm trying to box fight kids, look for that initial crack. Stuff like this is what I see pros do all the time, and I would assume that this is the correct thing to do as someone who's trying to get to that level. So as we're going up into this end game, this is the best one in this whole video. Now, what you're going to see me do, I'm rotating along and just trying to stay on one side of the zone. Generally speaking, I never want to be directly centered, which is stuff that I always talked about when going into this cup. And this game, for the most part, like, I was always trying to hug a right or left side, which is really, really good. One little tip I did to help me get a refresh, I feel like this is what these cash cup videos are about, to help you get these refreshes. I created a bunch of boxes like out forward into the zone, and then I'd play back in them. Then I'd make edits and look for people in front of me to try and pounce on. The second this guy got lobby focused, like, I just full ran after him and tried to just get right in his face. That is by far one of the easiest ways to get a kill, because it's like a free third party as you just jump in from the back. You could see my awareness was up a lot more. The second I got sprayed from height here, I knew I was second height, realized it right away, and instantly looked to drop down so that he can try and focus someone else, and it worked. So I create this box and I heal up fully. The second I grapple to the front side, I place a cone in my box, so because I box up next to someone, I don't want to get dropped down. I pop this big. Now I still have time. I realize this, that I have time to look out through this box, look forward, see if I can crack anyone rotating along the way, and jump on them. Now that's exactly what I did, and when I got this fry, I grappled to this guy's box, give him no time to do anything else besides just instantly jump in. To get refreshes in this game, like, you just have to be like a shark when there's blood in the water. The second you crack someone, you just chase that guy throughout the zone most of the time. In a situation like this, it was a clear path to get to this guy's box, so I just took that risk. With that refresh, it sets me up really, really well. And about here, I was really, really low on mats. And the second I got this guy shot just a little bit, I just took the 50-50 chance, going underneath that box and forcing myself up with the exploit, spraying my SMG at the same time. Now, I ended up chasing this guy a little too far in zone. And to be honest, it was kind of a little unlucky because the person who sprayed at me was on my layer. And then when I dropped down, there was a person below me who was also spraying my bottoms. I could have made it out of this zone, and potentially that could have been the game-winning refresh for me. I died in this last game, but that just goes to show, like, that game right there, if you can have 2 or 3 of those games just like that, you can really manage to pop off in these cash cups. And I think that this is the way I'm gonna find myself to get out of opens. I got some really good content coming up with some solid pros, so hit the sub button to see how a non-pro can go pro and get some earnings that I haven't gotten in a long time. Use code KenBeans. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.